What if the deepest pain you've ever felt didn't come from injury, but from someone you once trusted? What happens when betrayal comes not from strangers, but from those who knew your heart and used it against you? Today, we expose the kinds of betrayal that Stoic wisdom tells us must never be forgiven, not out of revenge, but out of respect for yourself. Betrayal cuts deeper than any blade. It doesn't just hurt, it lingers. It carves wounds into the heart that no one can see, but you feel every single day. In the world of Stoic philosophy, where inner peace and self-respect are the pillars of strength, not all betrayals deserve forgiveness. Some cross a sacred line, a line built on trust, on integrity, on mutual respect, and once crossed, it can never be redrawn. When someone you've let into the deepest corners of your soul turns against you, the damage is not just emotional. It changes the way you see the world. It makes you question not only others, but your own worth, your ability to trust, your ability to feel safe. That's why some betrayals don't call for reconciliation. They demand closure, firm, clear, and final. Forgiveness is a virtue, but not when it becomes self-abandonment. Stoicism teaches us to face life exactly as it is, not as we wish it to be. And part of that clarity is knowing when something has shattered beyond repair. Today, we'll uncover 3 of the most serious betrayals in relationships. These are not petty disagreements or small slips of judgment. These are conscious acts that crush trust, ignore loyalty, and strip away dignity. If your goal is to build emotional resilience so strong that no one can shake it, if you want to protect yourself from those who smile while hiding poison behind their back, this is where you begin. But before we dive in, take a moment to support this message. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the Stoic Crown channel for more wisdom on mastering your inner world. Growth begins with awareness, and by engaging here, you take a powerful step toward becoming emotionally untouchable. Now, let's begin. 1. Disloyalty, the ultimate violation of trust. Loyalty is more than a virtue. It's the very ground every meaningful relationship is built on. Without loyalty, trust collapses, security fades, connection dies. When someone betrays you through disloyalty, it's not a slip, it's a decision, a deliberate act to put their desires above the bond you shared. This betrayal shows up in many forms. A friend who talks behind your back, a partner who strays, a family member who chooses personal gain over shared values. None of these happen by accident. Disloyalty is a reflection of character. The Stoics taught us to master our responses while accepting the true nature of others. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That means you don't need to sink to their level. You don't need to fight back with the same poison. You just need to see them clearly and rise anyway. And now, we move into the second betrayal, one even more subtle, yet equally destructive. Earlier, we explored how disloyalty is a conscious choice that breaks the foundation of trust. Now, once that truth has been revealed, what comes next is just as critical: your response. When someone shows you who they really are through betrayal, you must believe them. You must remove them from your life. The Stoic path is not to dwell in pain, but to accept reality as it is. That means letting go emotionally, without rage or revenge, and walking forward without them. Some people will return after their betrayal. They'll offer excuses, they'll blame stress or circumstances. They might even flip the story and say you overreacted. But you must see through it. A single act of betrayal can be a mistake. Repeated betrayal is not. It is a pattern, a reflection of their character. If you choose to forgive disloyalty more than once, you are not showing compassion. You are telling them there will be no consequences, and that silence will be taken as permission to betray you again. If someone has shown you they cannot be loyal, they have no place in your inner circle. It doesn't matter how much history you have together. It doesn't matter how much love or time you've invested. The wound they've caused cannot be undone. Stoicism teaches us that peace is far more valuable than false companionship. It is better to stand alone in truth than to be surrounded by those who only pretend to care. As Seneca once said, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those you can also help grow. The people you keep close should uplift you. They should remain loyal even when you are not around, and they should act with integrity, not only when it benefits them, but always. So if someone has shown disloyalty, your only real duty is to walk away. Forgiving betrayal may sound noble on the surface, but in practice, it can become a form of self-betrayal. Because when you tolerate disloyalty, you send a message to yourself that your standards don't matter, that your dignity is negotiable. And once that belief settles in, you begin to undermine your own worth from the inside out. The strongest move you can make is to cut ties without hesitation. Let go with clarity and never look back. That is the Stoic way. You move forward with wisdom, not bitterness. You let go, but you never forget to. Deception, the poison that destroys relationships. Lies may seem like mere words, but they are more than that. They are sharp, silent weapons. They corrode trust. They shake the ground beneath any meaningful bond. They create a slow collapse from the inside. A single lie may appear small, but deception is rarely isolated. It reveals a pattern. It reflects a person's true nature. When someone lies to you, they are not just hiding information. They are actively distorting your perception of reality. And that is no minor offense. That is betrayal in its most dangerous form. Stoic wisdom teaches us that truth is the foundation of peace. Without honesty, there is no clarity, no stability, no trust. A relationship built on lies is like a house resting on sand. No matter how strong it appears, it is already crumbling beneath the surface. Seneca warned us. A dishonest man spreads lies first to others, then to himself. And over time, those who lie become entangled in their own web of fiction, until even they can no longer tell what is true. But just because they suffer in that confusion, does not mean you have to join them. In the next section, we confront the full cost of deception and what the Stoics tell us to do when trust has been broken. Previously, we explored how deception isn't just dishonesty, it's manipulation. It's the intentional bending of truth that eats away at the foundation of trust. And now we face what comes next. What should we do when lies have been exposed? Just because someone must live with the consequences of their deception does not mean you have to suffer alongside them. When someone lies to you, they are making a choice, a clear one. They are choosing to put their own interests above your trust. They are choosing to deceive instead of discuss, to manipulate instead of communicate. And by doing that, they are sending a message, one that says they do not respect you, because respect and deception cannot exist in the same breath. The moment someone lies to you, whether through omission, distortion, or a direct falsehood, they are declaring that your trust is disposable, that it can be used and discarded at will. And once trust is broken like that, it rarely returns to what it once was, in most cases, it never does. Some people will try to minimize this. They'll say everyone lies, that white lies are harmless, that deception is simply part of being human. But Stoic wisdom rejects that kind of moral compromise. A lie that fractures trust is never harmless. A lie that causes you to question everything that came before it is never small. Because deception is not just about hiding the truth, it's about controlling your reality. The one who lies wants to shape the story, bend it in their favor, often at your expense. And when you allow deception to go unchallenged, you open the door to more of it. When you tolerate lies, you silently encourage them. There will always be people who lie to cover their failures, who manipulate to gain advantage, who deceive to escape accountability. But as a Stoic, your duty is not to fix them, it is to detach. You do not waste energy trying to decode their motives. You do not try to repair what they never intended to preserve. And you do not dig through the ruins hoping for the truth from someone who has already proven they cannot be trusted. Instead, you accept the reality for what it is, and you remove yourself from the damage. Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Liar believes he knows better than truth, better than you, better than accountability. That mindset is not only blind, it's dangerous. You cannot change them, but you can change how you respond. A Stoic does not negotiate with deception. A Stoic does not let lies take root. The moment someone chooses dishonesty, you must see it clearly for what it is: a betrayal, a fracture that cannot be ignored. Because forgiving chronic deceit is not strength. It is an invitation for more of it. The only way to protect your peace and honor your own dignity is to walk away from those who have chosen dishonesty over integrity. The cost of keeping a liar in your life is always higher than the cost of losing them. 3. Broken trust. The irreparable damage that ends all bonds. Trust is the silent force that holds every meaningful relationship together. Without it, nothing stands. It takes years to build. It can shatter in seconds. And sometimes, it never truly returns. When someone breaks your trust, they don't just betray your confidence. They fracture the invisible thread that connects to people. The thread that holds space for respect, for loyalty, for emotional safety in many cases. Once that thread is cut, there is no going back. Trust is not only about honesty, it is about dependability, consistency, integrity. When you trust someone, you are giving them access to your most vulnerable places. Your secrets, your fears, your heart. You're letting them into a space very few ever reach. And when they betray that trust, whether through disloyalty, deception, or deliberate harm, they reveal a truth that can no longer be unseen. They were never worthy of it in the first place. Next, we uncover how to respond when trust is broken beyond repair, and how Stoicism gives us the strength to rebuild ourselves when the bond cannot be restored. Previously, we explored how broken trust severs the very foundation of any relationship. Now we turn to the final truth, what Stoicism teaches us to do when that bond has been shattered beyond repair. Stoicism teaches us to see human nature as it is not as we wish it to be. People will fail us. People will act in selfish, careless, even cruel ways. Some will betray us without hesitation and without remorse. But what separates the Stoic from the rest is not how we feel, it's how we respond. Most people fall into the trap of believing that trust, once broken, can be fully restored. That if the other person apologizes, if enough time passes, If they try hard enough, then somehow things will return to what they once were. But that is a dangerous illusion, because once trust is broken, it is never the same. It becomes like a mirror that is shattered. You may glue the pieces back together, but the cracks will always remain. Marcus Aurelius said it clearly: when someone has wronged you, do not focus on what they did. Focus on what you will do in response. And when trust is broken, your response should never be blind forgiveness. It should be self-preservation. If someone has already shown they are capable of betraying you, why would you offer them another chance? Would you drink from a well that once held poison just because someone claims the water is now clean? You rebuild a house on a foundation that has already collapsed. The truth is simple. When someone breaks your trust, they have already made a decision. They chose their own gain over your loyalty, their convenience over your respect. And that choice, no matter how much they regret it later, cannot be undone, even if they apologize, even if they beg, even if they swear it will never happen again. The damage has already been carved into the bond you once shared. You can pretend things will be different, but deep down, that shadow of doubt will never leave. You will always wonder, always ask yourself, are they lying again? Are they hiding something? Will they betray me one more time? And that constant uncertainty, that quiet mental torment, is far heavier than the pain of letting them go. Some people will urge you to forgive and forget, but Stoicism does not teach us to forgive blindly. It teaches us to act with wisdom, with self-respect, and with emotional detachment from those who choose to harm us. Seneca put it best: he who spares the guilty punishes the innocent. When you forgive someone who has broken your trust, you are not being noble. You are setting yourself up for more pain. You are sacrificing your peace for someone who already proved they did not deserve it. So when trust is broken, the Stoic response is not vengeance. It is not bitterness. It is quiet dignity. It is walking away with strength, learning the lesson, reinforcing your boundaries, and never allowing the same betrayal to happen twice. The highest act of self-respect is knowing when to let go. Forgiveness should be offered to those who make honest mistakes, not to those who deliberately chose betrayal. And the final truth is this: trust, once broken, should never be handed back freely. If someone truly valued your relationship, they never would have broken it to begin with. If they were loyal, you would not be questioning their actions now. The strongest decision you can make is to remove anyone who has proven untrustworthy, completely, without guilt, without looking back. Never let broken trust become a cycle of pain. Walk forward, don't turn around, and never allow yourself to be betrayed twice. Betrayal is a painful lesson, but it is also a necessary one, because not all betrayals deserve forgiveness, and not everyone who apologizes deserves another chance. Disloyalty, deception, broken trust, these are the final lines that must never be crossed. A Stoic wastes no time on those who have already revealed who they are. Your peace, your dignity, your self-respect are worth more than any connection built on lies. If this message spoke to you, take the next step. Subscribe to the Stoic Crown channel, like this video, share it with someone who needs this truth, and drop a comment below to join the conversation. Because the strongest move is not revenge, it is indifference. Walk away, never look back, and build a life where betrayal has no place.